Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the WPS podcast. That is Why People Suck. I'm Celia, and I'm joined by my co host, best friend, and sister, Alejandra.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be back for another episode where we call out all the ways people are super annoying and talk about what we can actually do about it. We say it so you don't have to. In today's episode, we're closing out our generational series. We're going to be talking about why Gen Z sucks. And for those of you who don't know, Gen Z was born between 1997 and 2012. And I think we actually have quite a bit to talk about with Gen Z. To be fair to them, though, I
Yeah,
kind of feel bad for them. I think that they kind of were handed such an unfair card in life. Because you think millennials had no chance of buying homes, Gen Z has even less of a chance. Like we talked about millennials last week, and we were like, most millennials can't buy a house, they can't afford anything. Gen Z is even deeper in the dumpster than millennials are, I think.
yeah, 100% agreed. Like, things are just way more expensive. Literally everything. I can't even list anything because the whole world just has gotten worse. And then if we even look at global warming and things like that, it's like, what is the future that we're handing over to younger generations? And right now, Gen Z is that youngest generation that is already, I guess, coming of age, that they're already adults. So they're like out in the workforce trying to get by doing things, and it's really difficult.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel like so one of the things that I actually really like about Gen Z is how they approach work-life balance. They are so strict about their work-life balance, which sometimes to a point it's like, okay, dude, you got to protect your peace, but it's like they take it a little too far. But I like the idea. I like the concept of how they're like, no, I will not do this. They have their boundaries, they set their boundaries. And if you try to cross those boundaries, they're like, absolutely not. Which, as a millennial, I was super sick earlier this week and I had a project due. And guess who had to do the project anyway, even though I was literally on my deathbed? Me. This millennial over here, laying in my deathbed, still working on this project, still handed it in. If I was Gen Z, I would have been like, no, it's not happening. So maybe I have something to learn from
Yeah.
Gen Z.
Yeah, 100% agreed. I did wanna talk about that because I think a lot of the things that they've brought to the work culture are good, that they care about work-life balance and about setting boundaries, like
Mhm.
not working overtime if you're not getting paid for it, stuff like that, and unfortunately, that is one thing that a lot of the older generations do look down upon with Gen Z. I think us millennials we're like, "Yes, go." We accept that because we want that for ourselves, but I do think millennials aren't quite ready to do that. We still feel guilty, like you said, like,
Yeah.
even you were sick, but you had to get it done. But I think if we lived in a world where we didn't have to feel that guilt, it would be better, and then I think Gen Z is kinda leading that movement. The negative things that some, like, Gen X and boomers say about Gen Z in terms of the workplace and how they behave is that they really lack motivation, and I found some stats for this just to share with you. About 50% of employers say that Gen Z have low motivation, and it's, like, one of the reasons that a lot of Gen Z are getting fired. I don't know if you've seen in the news articles about how a lot of Gen Z graduates are being fired because they're, quote, unquote, "lazy." I don't think they're lazy, I think that because or maybe, I don't know, but I think that the older generations just can't accept when someone says no to working overtime or to taking up more projects than they're able to deliver, and so they're often cited as being, like, very unprofessional, and I guess in a way it makes sense, though. You're not paid enough, like, you can't afford anything, and they've invented this thing that is, like, quiet quitting. Have you heard of that?
Yes. Yep. I have.
Yeah. So it's like a trend where employees perform, like, to the bare minimum, without any additional effort or enthusiasm because you're not getting paid extra for that, and your career is not necessarily advancing, so these are the things that Gen Z is kinda changing in the workforce.
Yeah. I find it hard to be motivated though when they're working for what? They can't afford anything. They're working so hard and they still have to live with their parents or have 15 roommates. So in a way I kind of see it. It's yeah, I wouldn't have any motivation either. It's what's the point of doing all this work if it's not going to get me anything? But also, you kinda should work hard. I don't know. It's a weird balance because I appreciate the fact that they're like, "I have boundaries and I'm not gonna work anymore if you're not gonna pay me more because I know my worth." But also, you do kinda have to work if you wanna make more money. So, you kinda have
Yeah.
it's a balance.
It is a balance because I have had to work with Gen Zs on projects, and it is annoying when they don't get stuff done, and it's just like, "Can you just do your work?" That's the annoying thing when it
Yeah.
starts to affect me personally. I don't wanna pick up your slack. I'm also
Yeah.
our generation is also messed up, you know? Don't
Yeah.
hurt me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It's funny, I have a coworker who's Gen Z, and she calls in a lot over things that I would never call in for. One of the things was she broke up with her boyfriend, so she had to take 2 days off to recover, and on the one hand, I was like, "You know what? Good for you. You knew that you would not be able to hold it together at work." But then I also think about me, and I'm like, "Okay, when I was dating and I went through breakups, I was just like, I'm gonna be a crying mess at work, but I'll be there," or whatever, you know?
Yes. Yeah, this is really funny because it's true that they just overshare a lot of things like this, like their personal drama or their family drama, and it's like a reason to not show up or protect their peace, as they like to
Yeah.
say.
They love that one.
I have heard of people doing that, but now it's funny to hear an actual example because it's so true. In a way, I do feel like, oh man, that is a hard thing to go through, and I empathize. And it's funny that now this is changing because of Gen Z.
Yeah, they're like, "Any minor inconvenience, I'm calling out."
Yeah, yeah. And, like, this culture of oversharing everything online as well, not just, like,
Yeah,
with their bosses or their friends and stuff, but everything now for them is online, like, they live an online life.
they are chronically online.
They are chronically online, and now they don't have any attention span. I've witnessed this with Gen Z colleagues who are looking at their phone. One of these guys got fired, actually, and it was
Oh,
cited in our company meeting that he was fired because he kept staring and scrolling on his phone throughout the workday, way too
yeah,
much.
yeah, it's crazy how much they are on their phones, yeah. When I'm in a meeting and the other thing that really annoys me is, like so obviously the smartwatches, like, you get your text messages on there. And instead of silencing that also, like, because sometimes they won't even silence their phones, which is really annoying, and they'll check them and they'll be scrolling and or they'll put it under the table, like, you can't notice what they're doing, and I'm like, "I know that you're just scrolling on your phone. I can tell, I'm not dumb." But then
Yeah.
also, you'll be talking to them, and then a text message will come in, and they'll reach for their phone, and they'll look at it, or they'll look at their smartwatch and check the text message, and that drives me insane. I hate
That
people doing
would drive me
that.
crazy too.
Yeah, it's like, "I'm
Yeah.
talking to you, stop doing that." But yeah, they all do it,
Yeah.
and I don't know, they're just online all the time, and technology is their number one thing that just pulls all of their attention all of the time. So I can
Yeah,
definitely
even when they're hanging out with their friends or family, they're
Mhm.
constantly checking it, or they're all out to dinner together on their phones,
Yes.
and they're always, like, filming everything, creating TikToks, being on Instagram,
Yeah.
Snapchat, scrolling. Everything has to go on there, which is funny because on the one hand, then they're also a generation that is scared of living their lives because 'cause they're scared of being recorded and put online and ridiculed or canceled and stuff.
Mhm.
We now know that this generation, they don't go out. drinking or partying and stuff like that because they're so scared, like, "Okay, who's filming me? Is this gonna end up online?"
Oh, is
And
that
that is
why?
one thing that I appreciate about our yeah,
Oh,
this is reasons that have been quoted for that, for, like, being afraid that their whole life is gonna end up
I
online,
didn't know that.
or they'll get canceled, or they'll be made fun of. Yeah, because like, all their friends have phones and
Yeah,
they're filming and stuff, and I think that, yes, our generation had phones, and we would go out, but we wouldn't really film each other with malice or something, or, like, with the idea of, like, going viral and, like,
right.
wanting to find this hilarious moment and put it online, whereas I think now that's the obsession.
Yeah.
So it's like they're scared of what's gonna end up online.
Yeah, they
And it's
have
funny because we didn't care about that.
no,
Facebook was just 1,000 photos of people just drunk at a college party or something, and it was like, "Whatever,
like,
there it
one
is."
night, and you take 1,000 photos of this one random Friday night. Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they have to control their image online, and they're, like, very worried about their online image, more so than their in-person image, I think, because in person, they don't really come off that great, to be fair. Not trying to be mean, but, like, they're not very social. Have you ever tried to talk to a Gen Z person? It's so difficult. They do not know how to have a normal conversation. There's no back and forth. It feels like an interrogation basically, and, like, they don't really look you in the eye. They're passive aggressive. They don't ever tell you if something is wrong. They don't really tell you that something's wrong. They're just, like, passive aggressive about it, and it's, like, very annoying. It's like, "Okay, I can tell something's wrong, but you're not telling me what it is, so I can't help you or I can't fix it." But they're like, "Hmm, I don't know."
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. I think because of that being, like, chronically online, that
Yeah.
you're not as good at being sociable
Yeah.
and having those experiences of going out, meeting people, and not being afraid of the world, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing that they always cling on to is, like, on top of, "I need to protect my peace," they're always talking about, like, this trauma that they've lived, but it's not always necessarily clear if the trauma is real trauma, like what I would consider trauma, or if it's just, like, the Starbucks guy can't get their name right, and that's very traumatizing for them.
Yeah,
Which if that's the deal, why don't you just eventually go, "Hey, that's actually not my name," or something, you know?
yeah,
Because again, passive aggressive.
yeah,
Instead of immediately being like, "This is the problem and let me fix it," because it's actually pretty easy to fix. They just have to be angry about it
yeah, and then post about it online
and talk
and
about their trauma.
complain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just can envision them saying things like, "I'm triggered right now."
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
eh, like, by everything.
Yeah. Yeah. The other funny thing that I think about them is that they don't really have, like, real jobs, right? They're all, like, content creators or, like, a digital planner or like some weird thing like, "I review protein bars for a living," and you're just like, "Is that do you make any money?" When I go out here, like, during the week, like, if I take a day off or an afternoon off because I have to run errands, nobody works here, and it's all Gen Z people, or they're all working at the coffee shop or whatever, and, like, the traffic is still heavy at, like, 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'm like, "No one in this town works," because they're all digital platform creators or whatever made up job you wanna call it.
Yeah. Although I do wonder if they find jobs and just it's so terrible out there that they can't, so they have to do these things, but it's so true that they
True.
have all these interesting sounding jobs that you wonder, "How did you get into that, and are you making money? Because you know what? Maybe if you are, maybe Imma do that too."
Yeah, sounds easy. Let me just do that.
Yeah.
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 But it also sounds tedious because then you have to have, like, 14 of those jobs to make any money because a lot of those don't really unless you're, like, a very successful content creator, like a social media which those are it's like 1% of the content creators are actually making it out there.
Yeah. No, it is a lot of work to be doing all these job ones just to get by.
Yeah, yeah. So I was kind of looking up like their lingo because every generation has their lingo, of course. I found some really funny ones. Do you want to talk about that? Because I know we kind of started talking about it last week, and you had some good ones, but I think I found some new ones.
Yeah, okay. There's some that I do actually like Slay. I actually do that one, but I'm also wondering, is that a Gen Z thing or is that
No, no, that's a
no,
millennial
right?
thing. Because that was in that one song. It was like "Slay Trick or you get eliminated." What song is that? "Slay Trick or you get eliminated." It's Beyoncé. Oh my gosh, it's Formation, and she is not Gen Z,
No,
and
she
that came
isn't.
out 9 years ago. So, I think it's millennials.
Okay, I guess that's probably why I like it.
Yeah.
But I also is extra theirs? You're so extra.
I also don't think that's them. I think it's millennials.
Oh gosh, okay. So maybe you need to share some, but there are some that I really don't like
Well,
Skibbity Toilet or
what does that
something.
even mean? I looked that one up and it was like the internet was like, "Nobody really knows."
Yeah, I think, nobody really knows, but in, like, the 2026 slang dictionary, it was just a nonsense meme term popularized by skivvy toilet videos on YouTube, often used humorously. And then an example is like,
Yeah.
"He started dancing like it's a skibbity moment." I'm like, "Okay,
Uh-huh.
I still don't really get it."
Yeah, I don't get it either, but okay, I just looked up extra and it is millennials.
Oh, okay. Never
Like
mind then.
yeah. So, yeah, skivvy is so disgusting. The other one, I think you mentioned this one last time, but Delulu?
Oh, yeah?
I kinda like Delulu. I don't know that I would necessarily use it. I think maybe I've used it a couple of times and it didn't really sound normal coming out of my mouth, so I decided it's not for me. But I kinda like it. When other people say it, I'm like, "Yeah, that's a funny word." So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
I don't mind it. I also like it's giving, which is funny because I know that you or your husband doesn't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they tweeted about this, and I was like, "It's giving what?"
Yeah, tell us why he doesn't like it, actually. I think this will be funny.
I don't know. I should have asked him, but I think he it's like it gives him the ick, which is I think also a Gen Z
Yeah.
thing, right? Giving me the ick.
When yes, and I like that one too,
Yeah.
because a lot of things give me the ick.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that gives my husband the ick is when people say that.
It's giving.
Yeah, it's giving
It's
the ick.
giving Delulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh gosh. They would totally say that.
Yeah.
Gen Z would probably approve of those words together. Have you heard of beige flag?
Yes, I have.
I hadn't heard that. The internet gave me that one and I was like, "Okay, I don't know how I feel about that one. I guess it's fine. It's like in between a red flag and a green flag." It's kinda dumb. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. I don't use it, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one either.
Yeah. It's giving beige. I
Mhm.
see somebody saying that. Uh, Another one that's big, situationship. They came up with that one.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
to crash out is when you completely lose it emotionally. That's a good one. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. I like that one.
Yeah. Oh, here's one that I really like, touching grass, which I'm like, "You guys kinda need to touch some grass," but
Yeah.
but it's a good one. It basically
So
means go outside and experience reality because 'cause you're being
yeah,
Delulu.
yeah, yeah. Like, quite literally go out in nature and feel better.
Yeah. It can also, I think, be figuratively, like, you're on the internet too much, just go do something else, like, in your house even, or just go talk to a human being, just go touch grass, be more of a
Yeah,
human being than a
yeah,
chat bot or a social media bean.
yeah. You know, I use sometimes that my husband hates. He hates it when I bring up any Gen Z lingo, but I use bet sometimes
What's that?
when he'll bet is like, "Okay." So he'll say, "Oh, do you wanna have chicken for dinner?" And I'll just be like, "Bet."
Because
To
you are not
annoy
who
him.
I am now. Would you like some chicken, Celia? Bet.
Bet.
I'm sure he
Yeah.
absolutely loves me replicating his accent because I do it so well.
He'll love it, yeah. Or also Fire. That
Oh, I
was
like
them,
that
right?
one.
Gen Z? Yeah, Fire is great.
Yeah,
And I say, "Oh, this is fire."
yeah.
He'll also be like, "Ugh,
What's wrong with that one? I like that one.
I like it too."
Yeah. Another one is goblin mode. Have you heard of that one?
No, what's that one?
It means being your grossest, laziest self. Kinda like a couch, that's what I would
Yeah,
say.
like on a weekend or
Yeah,
something.
goblin
Mm,
mode. I kinda like it.
yeah, I approve.
Yeah. And this other one, certified yapper, someone who never stops talking. That one's kinda
I
lame.
don't yeah, I don't like that one that much.
Yeah.
I don't mind also shook, like, I'm shook.
Oh, yeah. Did they come up with that?
I think so,
Okay.
but if not, we can move on. But also another one I use sometimes with my husband is Riz, because they really like that one, which is to say charisma. "You've got Riz," and
Yeah.
he's like, "No, no."
Yeah, that's all I got for new lingo.
Yeah, it's fun. I think because for the longest time, obviously, we were the youngest, it felt like I knew all the words and I was with it, but then when Gen Z started becoming teenagers or going to started college, new words started coming up, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna feel old pretty soon," but I am happy to say that because we're also tapped into the internet, I don't feel like I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah, it is easier to
And some of these words, I'm like, "Okay, fire, bet, ick, extra." I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is easier because of social media to stay in the know with the new generation, so that's good.
Yeah, it's true. But then that's also why I think they can be annoying because they're, like, chronically online and always talking poorly about millennials. It's like, "We should be banding together, yo." I don't like it when they just make fun of us.
Ugh, I know. Respect your elders because we deserve it. We've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like us talking about our elders.
No,
No.
yeah. No, we get it. I do feel like,
Yeah.
Gen Z is more entitled than us. It just seems like they're a little bit narcissistic, but I think it's because they grew up online. So
Yeah.
there is reasoning for that. And yeah, I do feel quite bad for them with that, just like everything always being online and how difficult it is now with them also finding jobs and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but there is one more thing that we haven't talked about that is interesting. The first time I heard about this was, one of my colleagues, she's about my age, so she's not Gen Z, but, like, very close to Gen Z. So, she was saying that they are more misogynistic than any other generation,
Really?
that it seems like the pendulum is going back. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen articles about this, but I did look it up and I found some stats about this, and it's true. The first time she told me this was maybe like 2 years ago, and I was like, "No way, like, we have to be getting
Right,
better."
we can't be going backwards.
But it's not because I think there is so much misogynistic rhetoric online, and some of these men get looped into that, and I wanna share with you some stats that came out in one of these polls that was conducted by Ipsos, IPSOS. I was looking at this article that said that more than 23,000 people from 29 countries were polled for this, and it says 31% of Gen Z men believe that a wife should always obey her husband.
Ew.
And in compare and can you believe this? In comparison, 13% of baby boomers said that. So,
That's
yeah.
shocking.
That is shocking, and then it also says that 59% of Gen Z men believe that men are expected to do too much to support equality compared with 45% of baby boomers. So, yeah, and then the last one was 57% of Gen Z men believe women's equality has gone so far that men are now discriminated against.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. They think that they're being discriminated? I wonder what
Yeah,
race. Did it say what race? Or it was just all
it
kinds?
is. It just said that they interviewed people across 29 countries,
Mhm.
so this is globally.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I think it probably does depend on cultures and stuff, like, I don't have a lot of Gen Z friends, or, like, I don't talk about this topic with
Yeah.
Gen Z guys. So I don't know the truth about how they feel,
Yeah.
but I do know that, like, dating for younger women is really hard
Yeah.
because men really do suck. So I think there is some truth to that.
Wow.
Like, they just, like, abuse women, like, I don't know, they're like, yeah, they're not great partners, or, like, they don't wanna treat women with respect and stuff. They're, like, just there as an object, like, they're going back to that kinda mentality.
Yeah, that's not good. That is definitely not what we
Mm-mm.
wanna where we wanna be headed.
No. But then that's half of Gen Z, the other half is women, so they're not as bad.
Yeah.
But I did wanna bring this up, is obviously it's not all Gen Z, but it is a trend that is happening with Gen Z, so we had to talk about it because that is terrible.
That's very concerning. Yeah. Need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Are there any other things that you wanted to bring up about Gen Z?
No, I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, I think me either.
Yeah.
I guess just to wrap up though, like what I wanna see from Gen Z is to stop being such haters. I think they can be quite haters because
Yes.
they're like online and they can say mean things like protected behind the screen and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want them also to be more of an ally with millennials as well.
I
And
know.
also cancel culture. Can we not do
Yeah.
that anymore?
Calm down. Yeah.
Mhm.
They gotta calm down with that. And
Yeah,
I would like for them to
seriously.
stop being so passive aggressive. Like if something is bothering you, just say it. You're not gonna get anywhere by being passive aggressive. It's not gonna fix your problem.
Yeah, totally. Just be better at communication and get out there in the world. Live your life. Stop being afraid of being filmed.
Touch grass.
Yeah. There's more to life than just TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess as we wrap up our generational series, because the next generation is Gen Alpha, but I think they're a little bit too young for us to judge yet to see how they're gonna go, how things are gonna go. So I think this is gonna be our last episode on the generations. But I think it's funny that every generation thinks that the one after them is ruining the world. Like boomers blame millennials, millennials blame Gen Z. And someday Gen Z will be complaining that Generation Alpha communicates only through like holograms and like dolphin noises. I think that's just the circle of life. But I feel like one way to improve this would be for, like you said earlier, millennials and Gen Z to maybe be a little bit more of allies because we do have a lot of things that align, like especially the work life balance. Like that's such a huge one that so many people would benefit from. So I think if we became allies, we could really create a much better world. And I think we're also very conscientious of like the earth and our environment, and that's all so important.
Yeah, agreed. So that's what we hope to see. Thank you so much for listening. And our audience, now we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. Is there anything we missed about Gen Z? Or do you have any stories about, I don't know, any of your Gen Z friends or colleagues that you want to share with us? Any funny stories? We'd love to hear from you. Remember to follow us at the WPS podcast. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And remember to like and comment on our posts and let us know what you think. Thanks so much for joining us. We said it so you didn't have to. We'll see you next time.
Bye. See you next time.